Hey, Jason, welcome to it. Justin.
Thanks, Frank.
Yeah, Justin. Hey, welcome
man.
to a family farm.
Hey, thanks, Rick.
This is something that's going to be extinct someday.
That's not good to hear, man.
That's all because of farm policy.
What do you farm here, Rick?
It was a dairy farm up until 3 years ago. Now it's just cash grain commodities and a few beef cows running around.
Okay. I guess specifically, like, what are you struggling with, like, this year?
Oh, it's everything. And basically, it's your bottom dollar. Last year was tough. Inputs, tariffs, and weather.
When you talk about inputs, like fertilizer and things like that?
Oh,
or
it's everything.
just everything?
You start with taxes.
Yeah.
Then the utilities, electric bills,
Sure.
diesel fuel. And, they talk about diesel fuel going up. Well, the consumer pays for that cost. The trucking and the freight industries, they pass that on as a surcharge.
Yeah.
But as far as the farm goes, everything on the farm is trucked in and trucked out, and the farmer has to absorb all freight coming and going.
So you're absorbing this higher gas prices,
On both ends. Everything.
and the higher tariff prices on your commodities.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, everything. Well, for example, since they started this senseless war,
Yep.
nobody wins in a war. Somebody gets rich.
Yep.
But the fertilizer prices, for example, urea, nitrogen, which is one of the basic fertilizer you need for growing anything,
Yeah.
mostly corn. In December, it was a little over $500 a ton. There was quoted a price this week of $850 a ton.
Jeez.
And the thing is, the inventory has already been manufactured prior to that war.
So it's just sitting there
these
already.
Well, these are the effects of monopolization, no competition, and just plain price gouging. There's no competition anymore in agriculture. It's pretty much everything owned by just a couple of large multinational corporations.
Right. And all the smaller family farms kind of are going out of business. This is?
Oh, it's a Lyman fertilizer spreader.
Oh, nice.
I fill up with fertilizer. I'm probably looking at about $7,500.
Jesus.
And when I first bought this thing about 15, 20 years ago, it probably cost me $1,200 for that same.
Wow.
There is so much emphasis. Everything in the farm programs, farm policies, is geared to benefit large farms.
Yeah.
Well, look at John Deere stock.
Yeah.
Look what it was back in the 80s. Look what it is today.
Yeah.
That's when the board of directors became more represented from people from Wall Street.
How do you feel about, so speaking of John Deere, like, how do you feel about the right to repair bills?
Oh no, they got a monopoly. Like I said, monopolies. They're proprietary. They got a special tool. They got a program. They want to share it.
Right.
So it allows them to charge you an outrageous fortune. The new equipment today, well, a couple of those tractors out there, if it's just a minor adjustment, somebody has to come down with a laptop, put it on, and
Yeah. What other things like are in the Farm Bill that maybe people don't realize are in the Farm Bill? You had mentioned things like SNAP benefits.
80% of the funding in the Farm Bill goes to food programs, feed
Yeah.
the people. This
like
last,
school lunches, right?
well, yeah, school lunches, Meals on Wheels, food SNAP programs, any kind of subsidized food program is through the Farm Bill. This big beautiful bill, and they took all these benefits away from the food out of the SNAP program.
Right.
They increased the funding in the Farm Bill, and they said, well, we're able to put lower premiums for crop insurance for farmers. Well, that money went to an insurance company. Some company profited out of that.
Yeah.
Not some kid had to go hungry because some CEO needed another 2 cents in a stock dividend. They will give you some talking points on a line of BS about what's in there for family farms, but when it comes down to it, the programs, they basically just purely benefit large farms. Another thing about the Farm Bill, or the farm programs, there's a limit on how much a individual can get. But some of these really large farms, take for instance the former Secretary of Agriculture, Sonny Perdue.
Okay.
I don't know how many hundreds of thousands, possibly millions of dollars they got from government subsidies. Even though there's a limit per person, there were relatives that were supposedly partners or had an entity into the farm, but probably don't even know where the farm is at. The Farm Bill is basically, they look at the three commodities: cotton farmers, corn farmers, wheat soybeans, barley. Okay, not so much on my input costs, but what they did to my markets. China basically purchased a third of the soybeans grown in this country.
Right.
We lost that market.
Wow.
So 30% of my market on beans is gone.
What do you think about that farm bailout, the $12 billion that they sent in?
Well, that's what the farmers voted for.
Yeah.
Trump told them what he was going to do, and they voted for it thinking they were going to get 3 times that. All it did was maybe paid some bills for some guys.
Yeah. Or even the bigger farms, right? I mean,
Well, the bigger farms got more. It was based on your acres,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So
right.
much like corn is roughly $35, $40 an acre for every acre of corn. Beans was roughly a little bit, maybe more. The family farm that had 50 acres of corn,
Yeah.
what did that do for him? Not a lot.
yeah, nothing.
Probably didn't fill his truck with gas to get to the ASCS
Right.
office. But the farm that plants thousands of acres, sure, he probably put some in his 401.
How do you encourage young people to get into the farming careers at this point in time?
Oh, don't get me wrong, it's a great way of life.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, it's beautiful out here. I wish I had a farm. I mean,
Careful what you wish for.
you're right. Yeah, I was about to say.
We had a dairy farm. As kids growing up, it was 40 cows. We didn't know we were poor. And up until the 80s, you could get ahead farming.
Yeah.
Then the 80s hit, and it put a lot of farms broke. I mean, a lot of farms. Late 90s, it wasn't bad. But we kept increasing cow numbers and production. You have a lot more automation, which enabled you to do more.
I was just about to ask you what kind of like automation and innovation, should we be investing in for the future of farming?
We've used so-called AI for years. I had my first generation light bar guidance on a tractor.
Okay.
It just gave me straight A/B lines.
Yeah.
It was a cost savings investment because there was no overlapping on fertilizer. There was no skips on herbicides or fertilizers. So it saved you money.
Yeah.
So latest thing as far as AI or technology, 3 years ago we invested in a drone spraying cover cropping. That little piece of equipment covers more acres on my farm than anything I have. Issues as far as rainfall, moisture levels, insect disease pressures. Now the younger generations,
You think getting them involved in that kind of technology and innovation would bring them more into the farm space?
no, it's too expensive.
Okay.
For example, what I have here, I'm the third generation. My son's going to end up with most of it the next time around. If it wasn't all paid for, he could never afford to even start doing it. What happens to the next generation after that? I have no idea. This is my project.
Yeah, you did all this?
6-7 years ago. I called up about acquiring solar, putting solar in. They wanted $220,000.
Okay.
And you call it creative accounting, whatever you want. They showed you, your electric bill, instead of electric bill, same dollars, but you're paying a loan off.
Sure.
In 20 years, it's yours. 20 years, it's obsolete. So, I couldn't see the value in doing it. So, did this myself. I got less than a third of what it was going to cost me to have somebody do it. But granted, you have to make a dollar to stay in business, but some of them dollars are kind of excessive. So when utility bills went up,
Yeah.
my payback, instead of being 7.5 years, went to 3 years.
How much, what's the wattage does this generate?
This one here is it was permitted for 49.
What percentage of that is like your total electric bill?
Pennsylvania, they're unique. They do some things that are really, I hope they don't change the rules.
Okay.
But basically you can store your electric that you don't use. Use those numbers to offset when you're not making electric.
Yeah.
And then if you make too much, you can also what they call virtual metering. You can apply it to another account.
Okay.
November, December, January, February's electric bills for the farm. The farmhouse where my nephews lives. In my house, that bill is zero.
Nice.
So administrations, what's their number one motivator? Money.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So, if you take away the wind and the solar, how many dollars is that taken away from the industry producing electricity?
Right. Exactly. Well, they just want to sell coal now, right? That's their
Coal.
big thing. Beautiful, clean coal.
The other thing I got from coal back in the 70s was when I looked at Youngstown from the steel mills and everything, I had a yellow haze. It was sulfur. I was getting, they called it acid rain, but I was getting sulfur on my ground. Now I have to pay for it. Talk to people in Erie. You remember what Lake Erie used to be like in the 60s and 70s? Darksville Reservoir.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you look in the book, there's not a species of fish in there. They tell you it's safe to eat.
Right. Right. And that's the reservoir that I grew up on
And
Man, right there.
Yeah, and that's because of the PCPs from the industries upstream.
Yeah.
Climate change is real.
Right. Yeah. We need to be, like you said, you're stewards of your farmland. We only need to be stewards of the planet. Look at these cows.
Huh? Here? Okay, these are so-called feeders, okay?
You say feeder, like these are meat cows?
Yeah, they weigh about 500 to 600 pounds. You raise them until they're full grown, they weigh about 1,400 pounds. And it's a risk, the longer you keep them, things could happen. They get sick.
Get sick, yeah. Next time I come down there, I'm going to wear my boots.
We'll put you to work.
It's all right.
That tractor right there, new, was 96,000. Today, that tractor right there is probably closer to 400.
Wow, that's nuts. Rick, you're running for office too, right? What are you running for? Let everybody know.
Oh, State House.
All right, how's that going?
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it's good.
No, some fact, someone said, "Boy, it's a lot of work running for office."
It is. It really is.
Hey, whenever I see what the potential is, what's going on in the world,
Yeah.
what could happen, it scares me for my kids' future.
Yeah, same. Scares me for my kids' future as well.
That's it. A few years ago, I ran for Congress.
Right.
No political experience other than voting in my life. And I ran because of what January 6th, what Mike Kelly was doing, wanting to throw our votes out, took it to the courts.
Yeah.
And, it's like, I just thought, wow, somebody's got to run against this guy. Talking to all those people from Erie down to Butler, it didn't matter where I was at, which county I was in, or which township I was in. They had the same concerns, same issues. I think the reality's starting to set in now. We had Governor Waltz on the farm here leading up to the last election, and he asked me, Rick, he says, why do farmers support Trump? And I told him, I said, well, I look at it as a voter as being a consumer. They're just brand loyal.
Yeah.
So how do you get somebody to go to a different restaurant? Try something different.
Try something, yeah.
Right? Instead of buying a Big Mac, how do we get them to buy a cheeseburger?